Okay, guys, welcome to Area 51 Racing Podcast, episode 11. I am Rob. I'm filling in for the host tonight, Bobby. Um, Bobby's on vacation, and joining us tonight is a new member of our Area 51 Racing Podcast cast, named Dave. I'm sorry. Dave,
Yep.
why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little about yourself.
Hey guys. Well, yep. I'm subbing in for Bobby as well. Um, been a lifelong NASCAR, Xfinity, Nationwide, Winston Cup, ARCA, you name it. I've been in it. Uh, Grew up in a racing household where my father was a pit crew on an ARCA series, and then at our local track, raced figure eights and models. So that's really where my blood runs deep with racing. If you couldn't tell from behind me, huge Jeremy Clements fan, huge Kyle Busch fan, but just racing as a whole, man, I can't wait to start this adventure with you guys. You know, get to know a little bit more about racing, get to talk to some pretty cool people along the way. And it's just an absolute pleasure for you guys to pick me to kind of represent the South down here in Charlotte.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We welcome you with open arms, Dave. You did a great job after the Daytona race. You got some video from Mark Setzer at Jeremy's shop and stuff, and we appreciated that. And with you being down North Carolina in that area, and me being in Wisconsin and Bobby in Ohio, it's a lot easier for you to have access to that, and we appreciate that. But tonight, our guest is Josh Appleby. He's a jackman for Trackhouse Racing, the number 99 car of Daniel Suarez, and also in the Xfinity series, the number 27 car, Jeb Burton for Jordan Anderson Racing. Welcome to the show, Josh. How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. It's going well.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for
So,
coming.
so how did you get involved in NASCAR, Josh?
So moved to the area. Well, I met my wife at the University of Louisville. So I was playing football there and she was cheering. When we met, her family was already here in the Charlotte area. So she wanted to be closer to them. So we headed this way. I got a job with a little IT firm. Really wasn't enjoying it. The gym that I was working out at had a couple guys that had left there and went on to be pit crew members. And so the owner of the gym kind of mentioned that to me. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I've always been into cars my whole life. Never actually really watched racing before I got into it, but just street cars and stuff like that. So once I made some contacts in the industry, basically, just a couple of phone calls here and there. I showed up to some practices, did some tryouts, and basically I was told by a few different teams, hey, you're welcome to, walk on in a sense, right? Kind of put the work in. And if you can make something work, then we'll find a spot for you in time. And that's what I did. I started at basically when I showed up to my first practice, I was hooked, right? I was like, all right, so if I can do this for a job, I can pit race cars and, travel to different places on the weekends. That would be really cool, right? Really, really fun experience. So I put my 2 weeks in at my job and I showed up at what was Chip Ganassi Racing at the time, and would started practicing with them, just trying to learn it, and moved furniture on the side actually until I could make enough money doing it to go full time. So,
So that's your full-time job, is being a pit crew member?
oh yeah, yep, it has been for coming up on 9 years now, actually.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Now,
So
when you say that you had a part-time hustle as moving couches and just doing things on the weekend,
yep.
You see these bigger teams and it seems almost anymore just to go over the wall, it's a 24-hour commitment. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
and everything. Now, is that even available to you anymore as a quote unquote having a second job, or is this a full-time commitment?
Mm, it depends on kind of your role and your situation in your company. And every company is so different on how they handle their pit crew guys and the time commitment that they ask out of them. But
Okay.
from my specific standpoint, no, it's really difficult for me to have something else outside of this, to be honest with you. I've kind of dabbled and looked into some different things, and at some point it may lead to something, right? But it'll still have to be conducive to our schedule. Like I am Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I would say I'm at the shop from 7 to close to 3 or 4 o'clock, right?
Wow.
Maybe it may be a little earlier on Thursday. Monday, I'll usually get moving. I'll still get a workout in or something like that. I'll still review some numbers and film from the day before. But obviously, I've got back into town, so I'll try and hang out with my family. And then Friday's usually a full off day for me, and then I'm back to traveling on Saturday. So as you can see, between all that, my weekend is really maybe a little bit of Monday and most of Friday. So by that point, yeah, I mean, it becomes a full-time gig. And honestly, every single year that I've been in it, it's anything else. It only gets more competitive and more serious, right? And you find more things to do in order to make yourself better physically, mentally, from a film review standpoint. How are we going to alter or work on our equipment in order to make us faster? All that kind of stuff. R&D testing, takes time, right? So you end up, whenever I talk to people about this, they're always like, that's a full-time job. And I'm like, once you get into anything and every 10th matters, then, you need the time to get better at it. Right. So.
Right. And, living down here in the South, obviously been to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, got to do the simulation. I'm going to say it took me 4 pumps. So understand why the day in the gym is so important. I could imagine lifting up that 3,200-pound car now.
Yeah. Yep. Right around there.
Yep. And with a single pump, that's just absolutely amazing. Now, can you put us through, say, your pit stop?
Yeah. So first off, along the lines of the jack, I mean, obviously we've spent a lot of money in developing a single pump jack. Right. There's a lot of different pieces and functionalities on it that allow us to be able to do it that fast. Now, granted, not any person can just grab it and jack the car. There is, like you said, there is a technique to it. It doesn't even necessarily always about necessarily strength, but it's technique. It's like anything else, right? Like the strongest guy can't hit the golf ball the farthest, right? Necessarily, because there's a technique to it, right? Just like anything. So that, from that standpoint, so how the stop works from mine, me, the carrier and the front changer obviously clear the front of the car. So we run across the front of the car. The carrier is holding both the tires. Is this kind of what did you want me to do? You may kind of break it down like that. Okay. So the carrier, so the carrier's holding both the right side tires, and he's split between me and the front changer. I will then obviously we track the car to its stopping point, which most of our goal is to basically catch the car what we would call a zero, right? A 0 to like 0.10. So from the time the car stops to the time that I peg it, to the time that the carrier sets the tire, to the time that the front changer engages that lug nut should be roughly at a 0, right? So it's simultaneous. And then jack the car, carrier moves around me. He will then index the tire for the rear changer that has come around the backside of the car. I will then index. Well, I don't use the word index, which was put on the tire for the changer who has removed the right front and rolled it back to the wall, and then we will transition around the other side of the car, doing the same thing again. This time, I actually hang the left rear tire after jacking the car, and then the carrier follows in behind and will index the left front tire, and then we'll drop the car. And obviously, there's variability in there depending on we're doing a right rear adjustment, left rear adjustment. What's how much fuel do you need? There's a lot of different things that kind of come into play there.
Right. And then Rob, do you want to jump in? You had mentioned a question about running in front of a car at 55 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So, what is there's obviously got to be an adrenaline rush of some type when you go over that wall and you got that 3,400-pound car coming at you. Yep. And it may or may not stop, or you may have another vehicle on pit row hit that vehicle and push you into, the vehicle into a pit crew member. I can't remember the gentleman's name that got hit. He might be on your team that got hit last year by the truck. I think of the 38 truck of Zane Smith.
Yeah, he's our carrier. Charlie's. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Badass guy. Unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we were talking about. What goes through your mind knowing that at any point that could happen? I mean, you got a job to do, but at any point that danger is there.
Yeah, I guess honestly, you don't really consider it that much, to be quite honest with you. You just get to the point of you have to be so focused in on what your job is that if something like that comes, it just is gonna, you're not gonna be able to do anything about it. You can react in the moment. You know, probably he had a very interesting situation that he got that the rear end of the truck actually came around, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're expecting that to happen. Most likely, and I've talked to him about this, when he stepped out, he thought he was fine. Once the rear of the truck came around, like he knew that he was carrying speed, but once the rear of the truck came around, he almost just couldn't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You jump out in front of enough vehicles, though, and I can tell you a couple maybe different stories that I've had, that you start to learn what that vehicle is doing and what it's going to do, right? And so majority of time, like let's say a driver's carrying a little too much speed and they're going to slide through the box or whatever, I will be able to tell, and I will high step my first two a little harder, right? And then I'll flip my hips really quick and I'll just let it slide right by me. Probably the most dangerous scenarios are actually when you have other cars colliding with each other, because then you can't really expect what's going to happen between these two cars. So that's when I get weary. If I see us about to turn in and somebody else about to turn out, and where you see these kind of wrecks on pit road, those are the instances where I would be less likely to jump, or man, I'm really going to watch this really carefully, or I may get kind of close to the jump line. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't be like, well, they're going to hit each other and that car's going to go this way and I'm going to go that way. Right. It's a lot to process and call it a second time. So probably the craziest instance I've had is, I think it was at Pocono, and it was 3-4 years ago. Stepped over the wall, and when I started turning to track my car, the corner of my eye, I just saw the side of a car coming down pit road. And I was like, that's not normal. And I looked over at it, like I stopped even pegging the gun. I looked over at it, and he was coming. The back end of Michael McDowell's car was sliding around to basically come up to the side of our car, and I just jumped and went over my front changer, and it came right into the area where I was standing, and I got really lucky. That's probably the luckiest one I've had. Anything else that I've almost been hit or nicked, I've kind of seen it coming, and I've been able to react, right? But that was the most dangerous one, where it was like I got really close. If I didn't just happen to see that car out of the corner of my eye. But all that, to answer your question, again, I think, there is a lot of, as much as, yes, those cars are flying down pit road, these are very good drivers too, right? I mean, they have a lot more control of the car than I think people even know, because they're professional drivers. So to an extent, you have to trust them too, right? Now, all racing as well. But I would say for the most part, from what I see, the drivers also care about trying not to hit anybody either. And so I think they do a pretty good job of managing that as well.
Now, you were saying you were, working out, all this good stuff, that stuff. You're athletic by trade and college.
Mm-hmm.
So as a, punter / kicker,
yep,
I can see how your peripherals and kind of knowing, let's switch categories, the defense is going to. So is that how you kind of look at it? You're like, all right, well, if this is going to happen, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
This needs to happen.
Yeah, I think so. I think, man, I think actually my background in kicking and punting, interestingly, has lended itself very well to doing pit stops, because it's an incredibly, and I've seen this with a lot of guys that come in that play sports that require a lot of muscle memory, right? Like I'm learning, let's just call it baseball. Like, you learn to swing a bat at a certain time in a certain way over and over and over and over again until you perfect it. Same thing here. You need to be almost somewhat of a robot, right? And so along with that, I think I've tried to, from the very beginning, watch scenarios with cars, how they're coming in, how they're leaving, and remember it. put it in my memory bank, and then always kind of be aware as to what's going on based on past experience. So
Yeah.
yeah. So from that standpoint, yes. Also, I think as a kicker and punter, you have to slow the moment down, right? Because you have a lot of individuals coming at you wanting to hit you, block the ball. But realistically, what they're doing, as long as you get the snap off, get the kickoff in such a way that you've practiced it should have no effect on you. Now, if you mess some portion of that up, then it will, right? And it's kind of the same thing with us. It's like, I almost don't like to, I don't think in what could happen or what will happen. I think in executing what we know how to do. And then if something else comes, then we'll just have to react to it when it does.
Now, does that make you, now from the kicking standpoint, all of us see it on, Saturdays, and on Sundays and on Mondays. The kicker's got his own little spot. He's got his area where that's all he thinks about. Now,
Yep.
do you to that zone, and does it make it easier to do your job when you're just like, all right, I'm just one guy. This is literally what I get paid to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say so. I try and through a lot of ups and downs, honestly, in sports, for me, I think I learned to an extent take myself out of the moment, right?
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter if we're running first or, and I can say this, you're going to consider it a little bit in your mind, but
Mhm.
you really try, no matter where we're running or what we're doing, to execute the pit stop in the exact same way and not think about the moment too much, if that makes sense, right? Because a lot of times, yeah, it's the same thing. Like an extra point at the beginning of a game versus an extra point to tie up or to take the lead at the end of a game is the same extra point. You just create more pressure by reminding yourself that this is to win the game, right?
You're talking tenths of seconds.
Correct.
Literally
Yeah.
seconds.
So I would say yes, 100%. It has allowed me from the very beginning. I'd say that's what quickly allowed me to probably move up fast in this, is that I was able to kind of just be like, look, block it out. You know what to do. You've practiced this a lot. You've used your muscle memory. Execute what you know how to do, right? And everything else will kind of work its way through. So, and your best teams on pit road, everybody is in that zone, right?
Right.
They work, they know what they're doing, and they trust the individuals around them know what they're doing, and then it all just flows, right?
Gotcha.
So what is it like working for Pitbull and Trackhouse, and he shows up at the race? I can't remember what race it was, but he's in the hauler before the race, and he's jacking you guys up.
Yep.
What is that like?
Man, it's pretty unique. I mean, I remember listening to Pitbull, I don't know, it's got to be at least 10 years ago, right? Like, or more, early on in high school and stuff. So it's kind of interesting to kind of look at it now and go, wow, like, I'm kind of connected to this guy. And that one, I mean, that's pretty neat, right? He is just a person that when he comes around, man, I mean, he just brings the energy up. You just see why he's been so successful, and it's not only because he's musically obviously gifted to create music, but like I just think he's a person that just creates energy and like culture with the people he's around. I think people want to be around him, they want to work with him, you know what I'm saying? So really cool. He's been around a few times. You asked what it's just like to work with Trackhouse. I mean, I feel pretty blessed to be, to have been a part of this transition. When I was with Ganassi, they basically gave us the option to, hey, do you want to go do something else? You can go to another team. And, I'd shopped around maybe a little bit, but I really, once I heard from Justin Marks, kind of who he was and listened to him, I was sold. That was it, right? Now, granted, I had coaches in my program that I was already comfortable with, and other players and people I still wanted to be around as well. But I knew it would, probably there's still obviously other things you want to know who you're working for. And again, when I heard from him and heard his vision and just kind of heard who he is, I was pretty sold. And so far, it's been incredible. That's all I can say. I mean, just the leadership of the company, the things that they're doing, it's exciting to be a part of.
You guys just came off a win too, with Daniel at Atlanta. So congratulations. So
I
did just out of curiosity, did you guys have another pinata ceremony at Trackhouse like they did when was it Shane Van Gisbergen won the Chicago street race?
No, we didn't have another one. We had a couple other little events, but we didn't have another pinata ceremony. No.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw somebody, or did you guys do something at the track with a pinata or something?
If you're talking at the track, yes,
Okay, that's what it was then.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So I was confused. I thought you may have thought we went and did it at the shop again, but yes, he will kind of bust open that's kind of his thing now, right? Because Ross has got the watermelon, so he'll take a pinata and bust it open, and a bunch of candy falls out. So
yeah, I saw somebody say the candy was like old candy because it's been in the trailer hauler for a while or something.
Yep.
I thought that was funny. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, some of the candy was like balled up, like because it had been like heated and all pushed together.
Now, how is it? Working. Obviously, you guys are two separate teams, but working with somebody like Chastain and somebody working like Daniel.
Yep.
That watching it from my perspective on Sundays.
Yep.
They seem like two completely different individuals.
Yeah. As far as
are they
I know
more than they look.
Say that again. Are they what?
Are they more similar than what leads to the eye? I mean, obviously competitors.
Yeah, honestly, I would say so. I mean, just first off, I just have I think they're both awesome guys. Really, they're both great people to work for. To an extent, I consider myself working for Ross as well, right? Because as a team,
Right.
I make his pit crew better, and his pit crew makes us better, and we all work together, right? So, obviously, I'm pulling for him to win as well, right? Obviously, I want us to win first, but we're not going to. I'd like them to win, right? And I would say honestly, yeah, I know Ross has kind of gotten into it with different people on the track, and I think some people, I really hear both sides. I hear people love it. I'll walk into like convenience stores and I'll have my Trackhouse shirt, and people are like, "I love Ross. I love the way he drives." And then some people get bothered by it, but for the most part, and I know I'm a little biased, from what I see is just good hard racing, right? It's just that's what I see. And he's not a person that's out there just to wreck people. I think he's just racing hard, and I think they're going fast, and I think they run into each other, and that's what he just gets kind of. And then I think obviously the NASCAR media and stuff, they love to build that up, right? Because that creates. But Daniel's aggressive as well. I just don't know if he's been lately in the position as much as Ross has to kind of get into it with people. But I think he may. But I mean, I wouldn't say don't count Daniel out from getting aggressive with somebody as well if he needs to. So I wouldn't say that's going to lay
bank now.
The what?
He's got points in the bank now.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're not as far off as you think, I would say, because I wouldn't put it past Daniel to he's got a fiery side too. So
gotcha.
In a good way, right?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
So what are your hobbies outside of racing? I know you have a family, you said, and stuff, and you're working a lot. So what do you do as a hobby to like decompress and relax if you're able to?
As funny as it is, I really enjoy working out. So that's cool because I get to work out for my job, and then I also work out on my own, right? When I don't even have to, right? So I really enjoy being active. I now have a 5-year-old and so 5 and 2.5, and 2.5-year-old, both boys. And honestly, if I'm not at the shop, I'm pretty much with them or I'm with my wife. That really consumes my time, especially traveling 2 days a week, being gone for almost 48 hours straight. I really am trying to be intentional with my time with them, honestly. So we have some go-karts out. We live on a little bit of property, so we have some go-karts, and we have I was just riding around with them tonight on the four-wheeler for a while. So we try and spend a good amount of time outside as a family, honestly, doing practicing soccer. My son's in soccer, or practicing basketball when he's playing basketball. I love being out in nature, like when just go on hikes. So really tends to be a lot of family activities for me. And just, again, I think being outside, really, really enjoy trying to be outside when we can.
So Dave you had a question earlier, and we were talking about this past weekend at Las Vegas.
Yep.
The elements that you had to deal with. Dave, why do you want to go ahead and?
Yeah. Obviously watching the reports all through the week. Starting with practice, ARCA. All these guys. Even hotel footage. From Vegas, and everything being blown around. Now, obviously, you guys are in a Coliseum. Let's call it what you will. It's not a Coliseum.
Yeah.
But, so were you guys protected at all versus because they were calling for sand gusts and this, that, and the other?
Yeah. So we didn't really have any big issues from a standpoint of sand getting in our gusting.
Right.
The wind was definitely blowing like crazy. Sorry, I'm gonna move my shoes here. The only thing really that was very different for us on Saturdays, we didn't set the top of our pit box up because when you're pushing gusts up to 60, 70 miles an hour, you can't trust that the wind's not going to take the top of that thing and do some damage to it, throw it out on the track or something like that. So you didn't see many people set it up. I honestly didn't hear Jeb talk about the wind affecting him very much. But it's hard. Maybe it's hard to tell if what you're feeling is the car or the wind. I don't know. And then from Sunday it died down, and again we were able to set our top up. And I didn't hear Daniel talk very much about it. I don't know if it was something that they were like, it is what it is. We're just everybody's dealing with it, so there's no point in talking about it, right? Kind of thing.
Right.
But I don't remember. Yeah, honestly, I don't really. It didn't really seem to affect our weekend very much, other than the wind was blowing really hard. That was pretty much it for us.
Yeah, I love the post race. Even the reporters down on pit road were all wearing their baseball caps, and they had a couple drivers doing their standard interviews, and all the drivers getting out, and all of a sudden their hair standing straight up, and trying to fix everything. And I'm going, so yeah, I knew it was windy. But
oh yeah. It was some of it was weird because it was some of the heaviest wind I've ever been in, and I'm not in a storm, like a major storm. It's just sunny and blowing 50 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? You don't usually get that.
Right. I guess, being from, you're, Louisville, now in the Carolinas, we don't get sandstorms. I'll take a hurricane over a sandstorm any day of the week. I can prepare weeks for, Katrina to come back.
Yeah.
Which hopefully at the Roval this year, we'll have good weather.
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to say that race on Sunday was the first with that wind. I could not believe there was a whole garbage bag with one beer can, a Silver Bullet Coors Light beer can, apparently was wrapped inside the garbage bag in the grill opening of William Byram's car.
Oh, really?
It was covering the whole front of his car. It was a whole garbage bag. Somehow got onto the track and made his temperature go up in the 300s, and he had to come in and they had to take it off. And apparently there was actually, maybe they were joking, but they said that there was a Silver Bullet Coors Light beer can stuck in the grill opening of the car inside the bag.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know anything about that.
Yeah, I saw it. It on the car, and I was like, "Is the wrap coming off the car?" Because that's what it looked like on the
Yep.
front.
Yep.
And I was like, "What the hell?" And then they pull in, and here it's a big garbage bag, like a big 25-gallon garbage bag or whatever,
Yeah.
black garbage bag, and it ended up apparently having a beer can in it. Must have blew out of one of the garbage cans or something and onto the track, and somehow got
Yeah.
on the front of his car. But
It was blowing hard, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. That's wild. There's funny.
yeah,
There's stuff that I actually will miss like that during the races at times, just depending on what I'm doing. If I'm reviewing our data or something like that, I'm kind of consumed with what we're doing usually. So I'll miss stuff like that. People could tell me, oh, this happened. I'll be like, oh, really? It did?
yeah, it was crazy. I was just like, wow,
Yeah.
how does that happen? I mean, but either way, but we got one more question for you, quick.
Yeah.
Um, you used to be a member of Jeremy Clements Racing's crew team
Yep.
last year as a jackman. How did you become involved with Jeremy Clements Racing?
So we, as a program, have been, I don't know, had an alliance with them or been involved with them, giving them pit crews for, man, I feel like it's got to be at least 6 years now. I feel like this is the first year that they haven't used one of our pit crews. And I don't think that's because of them. It's more because of us, because I think there were some other offers on the table. Again, stuff that I don't deal with, right? We just kind of go where we're told. But I believe we've supplied the pit crew for them at least for 6 years. So one of our crews would do their car. So that was really it. I mean, I've known a Jeremy Clements since I was first in racing. I feel like early on, because I'd done a couple one-off deals, his was actually one of the first Xfinity cars I ever did, back in 2017, 18, something like that. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And our coaches will then put us on that car.
Okay, Dave, do you have any follow-up questions? Otherwise, I think we're going to go and we'll talk to our next guest. We know you're really busy and really appreciate you spending time with us tonight.
Yeah, that was kind of be my final thing for you, Josh. Is I appreciate you taking it easy on me tonight, making my life easy. I always love talking to people that like to talk to me and talk my sports.
Yeah.
But I definitely wish you guys the best of luck and a continued run at the championship this year. You guys are already locked in, so it only gets better from here.
I agree with you. I appreciate it, guys. Seriously, hey, thanks for having me on. If y'all are going to be at the track anytime soon, let me know. We'll try to meet up and say hey.
So sounds good. I was just going to say that. Thank you for coming on tonight, and thanks. We're doing this for us, and then we'd see you at the track hopefully sometime soon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and good luck to Daniel and the Amigos and the rest of the Trackhouse team, and hopefully you guys have a good season.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. We'll talk with y'all soon.
Thanks, Josh. Take care.
Yeah.
All right, so we have in the waiting room our next guest, J.K. Newsom or Jarek Newsom. He is a tire changer for the Spire Motorsports number 71 car in the Xfinity Series for Zane Smith, and then he also is a tire changer on the pit crew for Nick Sanchez in the Craftsman Truck Series. I'm gonna bring him in here quick. Hopefully we can bring him in here.
If not, I've watched enough TikToks of the Smooth Criminal where I'm pretty sure that I can nail it if needed.
Yeah, I don't know what shows everything is muted of his. Oh,
No.
here we go.
There you go. No, I had to do a lot of goddamn little buttons.
That's okay. Jarek, how's it going?
It's going good. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm Bob, and this is Dave, our other guest or host tonight. So
So,
we just got done talking with Josh Appleby. I think you probably know who Josh is.
yes, yes. Yeah, that's my teammate now. Come on.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. I think you know who he is. So we just got done talking with him. So we appreciate you coming on and start out with uh, you're with Trackhouse Racing and also
Mhm.
Spire Motorsports,
Yes.
tire changer with them. Um, you, I guess, to start out with, how did you get involved in NASCAR?
I went to school for engineering, and I also too played basketball at the college I was at, which is Alcorn State. I came through the program that's called Drive for Diversity. So, which is Drive Diversity is they went to different HBCUs and recruiting different athletes and stuff like that. So I came in, I did a tryout, and then I made that tryout through my school, and then also too I came to the big tryout when I came to North Carolina, which saying they flew us out to come to North Carolina for a big tryout, which is other people from other schools and stuff like that, and I think it was what 21 or 23 people that was at the trial and stuff, and I think they only picked 6 people out of the 23. And
So would you consider it like uh, a pit crew combine?
Yeah, yes, yeah, pretty much. It was a pit crew come by, yes, and then they picked the 6 people that they wanted and all that stuff, and then they also too, I guess, yeah, paid for us to come to North Carolina. So all they did was pretty much they paid for our 6 months into training and all that stuff, and since then I've been here. I mean, I'm 6 years in now, so that's pretty much how I got in.
Nice. Now,
So
are you
you,
the
I was
Charlotte?
just going to follow up. Sorry. Have you been with Trackhouse the whole time, or have you been with other teams?
So I was with Chip Ganassi before Trackhouse, but I mean I'm sure you guys know that Trackhouse bought Chip Ganassi,
Mhm.
so like pretty much yes, pretty much the same team. I've been in the same spot the whole time, pretty much, yes.
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry, I walked on you before.
No, you're all right. Just saying, welcome to the Mooresville, Charlotte area. I hope you're enjoying our fine city.
Yes, I am. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I love Charlotte. I
Okay.
love Charlotte, and I don't plan on ever going back to Memphis.
So you're done with all that. Come to the Queen City.
Come on.
Right. Oh boy. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, obviously you've been in the sport for a little while, and I got a couple little pieces here, and wondering how hard is it, from obviously going from, trucks, cars, hopefully, the Cup Series, coming up real soon.
Mhm.
I got these two bad boys here. All
Yeah.
right. Obviously, you know what these bad boys are.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking what, 5 seconds difference between the two of them at least.
Yes. So,
How do you how do you do that on a weekend to weekend basis? As far as, because obviously choreography is in play. You know,
yeah.
you know,
I
as,
mean,
as a tier guy,
so I'm a changer, and I really think that's the main place that it changed. You know what I mean? So, because a carrier, jack man, they still got to jack the car. Carrier still set the tire and hang your tire, but also too is like you hang your tire and it's pretty much the same thing. But for a changer, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
right?
and that's what, like, when I came into sport, that's what I was taught. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nice and smooth, smooth is fast, fast is smooth.
Right.
And then in which I did the 5 lug for 4 years, and
Yeah.
then I've been like, which is, the 1 lug went from that 2 years ago. So now I have 2 years under my belt for a 1 lug.
Hmm.
It's nothing like that 5 lug sound of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beep, 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 beep. You know what I
Right.
mean? As a changer. I mean, but as a 1 lug changer, also too, is like you can go after it.
Okay.
Cause like, all right, so as a 5 lug changer, like, okay, cool. You gotta go and sit down and see the first lug, and then you gotta have the same rhythm. 1 lug, you can go down, all right, cool, that's the hub, and you can aim at it and go right at it regardless. Like, you don't have to settle, you don't have to sit down, you don't have to worry about your body position, you don't have to worry about anything. Like, so it's love and hate at the same time, because you love both of them, you know
Right.
what I mean? But also too, I have the like the team I work for, like, which is Trackhouse.
Hmm.
I have the gift of getting to do both of them. So Xfinity, I get to do Xfinity, I get to do truck, and then I do go to 1 lug on Sunday.
Right.
So I really like both of them. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, because also, it it it's hard to explain. Like, it's really hard to explain. Like, because everybody loves that 5 lug sound. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
Well,
our typical NASCAR sound.
yeah,
That's what we were born and raised around. Even in
yeah,
you go to, here in Gastonia, we got Carolina Motor Speedway, where
yeah,
it's a dirt. You can still hear the pits, bang, 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 bang. Obviously,
yeah.
not as quick as you, Lightning McQueen, but you know,
But
but I definitely get what you're saying. It is a different.
yeah, because people love seeing 9 second stops, 8 second stops. Because it's still the question of, like, man, how do you do it? Because it's also too, it's still the feeling and the sound thing too with the 1 lug.
Okay.
And like, I'm pretty sure you guys not seen, like, in the NASCAR period, you not seen like wheels come off, like, the different questions, trying to figure this stuff out. Like, all right, cool, but I felt this and I heard this, but sometimes that's not the answer. It's just like also two recognition. Like, you got to use all three senses: your hearing, your seeing, and your feeling.
Gotcha.
So, you know what I'm saying? And also too, is to run an 8 second stop. 4 tires full of fuel. You got everybody got to be in the same thing, same motion, same rhythm. Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I also too, I give it up to the Jackman always, because now guess what? The Jackman they gotta hear different sounds, and they don't have time to listen to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They gotta listen to brr, brr, brr. You know what I
Go.
mean? So I also too, give it up to the Jackman. I always give it up to the Jackman, because they are also too the main power of. Me personally, I think it's up to them.
Right. There's once, we saw it, what was it, last week? Um, you
Yes.
know, rim came apart, two
Yeah,
pieces. Uh,
Chris Busher's car.
yeah, two dowel pins. All is
Yeah.
holding on besides the one lug. And, you know, to watch it damage a NASCAR wall was just something to be said.
Yeah, but see, but the thing is, like, what people not understanding, like, that's also too, that's like a tenth,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean, a hearing or something not being done, like, in a tenth.
Yeah.
You can't even blink your eye that fast. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's also the thing is, like, and that's the fun thing about it, like, because like when you blast off that fast stop and everything goes and it's good and you know it's good, it's like that's the good feeling about it too, because it's a fast stop, eight
Right.
seconds.
Yeah. That was
So
another question that Rob had. Rob, do you want to do the best and the worst?
Right. So Mike, first I was just going to ask real quick, with that one lug nut, you got that pin, that little pin or latch that pops up that locks the nut in place. Is there anything that indicates to you that that is actually all the way up, or is that just like, hopefully it's up because I went as far as I could?
To be honest with you, I can answer that question, but guess what? I don't want to give it away to everybody else either. Like,
Okay,
cause
I appreciate
my
that.
secret is my secret.
I
But
appreciate that.
you know what I mean? Like for real, cause like
Absolutely.
it's a lot of teams do it different ways. Like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like some people really don't care about it. They just like, all right, cool. Like it should be on, it should not. If you have a good hang, hey, guess what? It should be on or not. They don't look at it. They don't probably don't care about it. I have my different ways, like of like me recognizing, like, all right, cool. I know my wheel is tight. Like, but also too, every changer does a different pattern on a socket. Like everybody, like we're basically in art class again. You know what I mean? So we all have our different pattern. Like to us, it means, all right, if our socket stops, we see our socket stop with our pattern. That means, guess what? It's done. It should be tight. And nine times in my book, 9 times 10 is tight.
Okay. So my question was going to be, so what is it like to do a bad pit stop, and then how do you readjust and focus to make sure the next pit stop it doesn't carry into? And then what is it like to have a great pit stop, and how does that affect the rest of your day?
My thing is, I mean, I played sports my whole life. I mean, you're gonna fail regardless. My thing is, hey, fail quickly. You know what I mean? It's fail quickly, and also too, guess what? You have another pit stop going on. Like you can't keep drowning on like what went bad and thinking about what's bad. It's like, all right, cool, something went wrong. As long as you know, understand what went wrong and figuring out what went wrong, then all right, cool, it's on to the next stop. Fail quickly, because you can't drown on and think about it. Because then if you get on a wall thinking about, okay, hey, this went bad this time, and thinking negative the first time, only thing that your mind is gonna remember is the negative thoughts that you had. So it's, hey, fail quickly. All right, cool, something went wrong, and cool, good. When your stop goes great, cool. Is, hey, now it's the mindset of being mellow. Like it's cool. Hey, stay there, nice and smooth. Smooth is fast, and fast is smooth. Like,
Gotcha.
you know what I mean? Like it's you can't you can't. It's like you guys know NASCAR. You can't celebrate too early. Like, all right, cool. Like we had a good stop. You can't be like, oh yes, yay, that's it right there. You know what I mean? Because guess what? You have 5 or 6 more stops.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but it's the thing of like, hey, once you get in that rhythm, stand in that rhythm.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty much like that's how I look at it. It's like, all right, cool, we had a good stop, cool, we there. It's on to the next stop. Hey, take one stop at a time. Like, cause each stop is a different stop every time. You're not gonna get the same thing every time. It's one stop at a time. So, hey, once you get that stop done and over with, all right, cool, on to the next one.
Yeah, Josh was kind of hitting at that when we were talking to him a little bit earlier. It's just the choreography, the muscle memory, and that's kind of why I think they're starting to recruit, athletes from, the top divisions of sports is,
Yeah.
already motivated. You've already got the work ethic. You've gone this far, hey, how can we help you get better?
Cause you can teach somebody how to do something, but you can't teach somebody the mindset and the work ethic.
Yep.
If that makes sense. Like, yes, hey, yeah, you can try to teach somebody how to run, you can try to do all that stuff. Then now you gotta teach the person how to do the work ethic. But if you get an athlete, now you really don't have to try to teach them how to run or mechanics and all that extra stuff or
Yeah.
the work ethic, because they already have the work ethic in them already, because they never made it to that level. already. If that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes absolute perfect sense, and it kind of is the reason behind why I was thinking, these guys are born and bred with and have went through their whole childhood, middle school, high school, and now college. That's already ingrained.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's because it's the same thing. We all want to be the best at the end of the day,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's a team sport. Like you got to work as a team. So we all been working as a team already our whole life. So it's like, all right, cool. We know it's not just a one team sport.
gotcha.
So, so Jarek, what is a day at the track like for you? What from like the time you get there to after the race? Could you walk us through that process? What is it like for a tire changer in NASCAR?
So I mean, it's pretty much like from getting to the track and to the race, it's pretty much the same as I think it's from a Jackman carrier and all that stuff. We get to because we always get to the track together. We ride in one van together as a team. We get to the track. Of course, you're gonna walk in, get to your hauler, you know what I'm saying? Holler at all your road crew, your crew chief, your driver. You know what I'm saying? You gotta say, you gotta say hi, you gotta see how they doing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put their motivation up there. Just you gotta bring that energy too. Like as a pit crew, man, you gotta bring that energy too. Cause if you don't bring that energy, also too, it can affect them too. Like we gotta let them know, like, hey, look, hey, we here, we feeling good. Hey, y'all feeling good? Good. That's what we like to see. Good job. All right, cool. We then gave everybody their fist bumps and stuff, and then we have to go set up the pit box. So now we're setting up the pit boxes as a tire changer. We're gonna run the tires. However many sets we come, like each race is different. Like road course, we might have 4 sets of tires. Daytona, we might have 3 sets of tires. And like then you go to Coke 600, you might have 14, 15 sets of tires. So we're gonna run the tires, and then also too we're gonna set up the pit box, in which the pit box is the pit sign, getting your hoses ready, getting your regulator ready, getting the benches ready upstairs for all the sponsors and stuff like that. Then also too, you have to clean your tires and check your tires too, which with the 5 lug. Well, okay, I'm gonna explain with the 5 lug first. So the 5 lug is like you have to glue all your lug nuts to the wheel. So now we're sitting there, we're gluing every wheel with lug nuts. So at that point, like depends on how many sets you got, depending on how long it's gonna take you. And so we're doing that. And then with the 1 lug, and then it's like, all right, cool. You have 1 lug that you have to clean, and really, it just depends on what team you're on. Everybody does it differently, and have different modifications what they want to do today, the wheels they want to do, or the lubrication. I would say, I think not modification, lubrication, and so you clean your tires. You check the with 1 lug. You check the back wheels because the back of the wheels because you have the drive pins. You have multiple holes on the back of the wheel. So you check that, and then pretty much you kind of you might chill for a little bit. Then you go eat. You eat as a
I,
team.
I, yeah, champ.
Huh?
I heard you guys eat like champions.
Hey, I eat at show, man. So, hey, once you get a plate, hey, welcome to the show.
Because they always show the grill man. I mean, you might be a tire changer, but on pretty much every pre-race, they're down there checking out the grills.
Oh yeah, man, hey, you gotta fuel the body, though. Hey, we're going out there trying to run 8 seconds, 8 second stops, man. It's just like any race car. Guess what? You gotta have gas in it, right?
Now,
Yep.
Hey, we
with
gotta have.
with that question, say you're running Bristol, all right?
Mhm.
Quick, it's a quick track. Everybody knows that. It seems to go by as a spectator very, very, very quickly. I'm proud to say I've been there quite a few times. Now, being
My
here
favorite track. My favorite track.
now here in Charlotte, we used to have 2 oval tracks, and now we got a roval track, and then we've got the longest race of the year.
Longest race in NASCAR. Come on.
Do you focus on staying prepared as an athlete for 5 hours at least?
I
And
mean,
that's if somebody doesn't flip over in the front stretch on the last lap.
I mean, it's like anything. Any athlete gonna stay focused no matter what, how long you're in it, regardless. It doesn't matter. You're gonna stay focused. But also, too, I will say that is one sport. I mean, that is one race that you have to like dial in
Okay.
because most races you might get 5 or 6 stops, maybe 7. You know what I mean? That you probably gonna do 14 stops that actually matter. Like, you know what I mean? And it's and that hey, that's an animal of his own. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like no, you have to stay focused because like all right, cool. Now you're 6 stops in, but guess what though? You might still have another 6 or 7.
But
But that's when you come as a team. Like you know, hey, cool, hey, good job, hey, get ready for the next one. Like you stay focused, look at film, and you just talking as a team, and also too not you want to make sure nobody's out there daydreaming because each stop matters at the 600. Like it's
right.
not it's not like it's not a few it's really not a few race because it's not like the Daytona, it's not a Talladega where it's like all right cool like we kind of it doesn't matter about your spots on pit road because you regardless you're gonna wait on fuel regardless, so it doesn't matter about how fast the stop you run. That is hey no each stop hey stop 1 matters just as much as stop 10 because
Yeah.
position matters and you don't want to be in the middle of all the chaos because of a pit stop.
Right. Now you were saying you couldn't stop and take a second to celebrate because the next one's 60 laps from now. But when you rip off a stop and gain your driver, say 4 or 5 spots on the track because of your work, I mean that's got to be motivation in itself.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. But it's a motivation of like, all right, cool. Hey, we did our job. Hey, guess what? Hey, focus in. We got another one coming up.
See, as an
That's
outsider
the
looking in,
discipline.
I
That's
guess
the
I don't
discipline.
have a job,
The
but
discipline comes into the mindset of also too realizing what's ahead of not just that one. You know what I mean? Because you can go pop off a fast one and gain 4 spots, then the next one you come in, you just still focus on trying to force another fast stop, and then you lose 4 spots.
got you.
So
No,
it's it can go either way, but it's also too like that's the discipline of being focused on a next stop, 1 stop at a time, not last stop. If that makes sense.
yep, I feel you. I get it 100%.
Yes.
So my question for you, Jarek, is you work for Trackhouse. I saw a video before, I don't know what race it was. I think it was last year. Pitbull shows up and he's in the trailer, the hauler trailer before, and he's all the crew's in there and he's jacking everybody up by giving you guys a speech. What is it like being around Pitbull and working for a company with Mr. Worldwide, being involved in and around? I mean, what better hype man than somebody to get you all hyped up and jacked with all the energy the guy brings?
Man, also too, like it's also too what I said before too. It's like the energy we bring. So now it's not about like, all right, cool, we gotta max his energy. It's like, no, hey, we here matching each other energy, and also too, I mean, I like one thing I will say, like you said, because like he's Mr. Worldwide. It's man, all that stuff starts with Justin Marks. Me personally, like great guy. See him all the time in the shop. Like he also comes to speak to us a lot. Also, too, Mr. Worldwide been to the shop and speak to us too. It's not like, all right, cool, that's our first time seeing him. Like that's
He's
the thing
just
about That's the
True.
thing about Trackhouse. Like if it like that's the thing about Trackhouse. It's not just like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, Justin Morris's owner, and we don't see him every once in a while at the track, and then it's just like, oh, now we have to do this because he's here. No, we we can see him on a daily basis.
Gotcha.
And also too, the thing is, they treat us like people. Like they it's not like it's a, I oh no, you can't go talk to him, you can't do this, you can't do that. No, it's it's a family. Like, so guess what? Like when they come in, it just feel like home now. Is it all right, cool, yeah. Hey, we here to work regardless. Like, so it's not no extra pressure put on just because you met him that day, because we already met him before.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like we didn't had a conversation. We seen him already before. Just now, it just seemed like, oh, okay, this is our first time seeing him. Nah, check us. We already done seen him. Everybody done seen him. We talk. We have conversations. Like
I checked.
it's a family. Like, you know what I mean? So it's no pressure. You know what I mean? Like it's no pressure. Like, oh, you have to go do this because he's here.
Right. Now getting into it a little personal there. I see that beauty right behind you. Are you into cars on and off the track, or?
Oh, what? I mean, hey, they gonna a lot of people gonna be mad at me, but no, I own a Ford Mustang, and it's a Ford Mustang that I have built myself. Like, I put everything that's put on my car. I put it in my garage in my house, on jack stands. Me myself, or me and my friends. I push 750 55 horsepower to the wheel. I take it to the racetrack. I know I love cars.
Right.
Like, I legit love cars, and that's why I enjoy with my job, because this is the highest I can go to being with cars and building cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love cars. That's why you see the
I
you see
see.
the
I,
Ford.
I see her.
Yeah. Like, I got the Chevy 55 too, because I mean I like cars. I have a couple cars in my dream cars that I want to get to build myself, but right now, I have my Ford Mustang that I love, and I put a lot of my money to. But
Now,
it's my daily too, so I love it.
So
now
we
is
had your neighbor down the street, Tig Willard, on our show earlier this year,
See,
and
that's
I
my
know
guy. Yeah.
Tig is your buddy,
Yes.
and he's obviously likes cars too, and he was telling us about how you and him work on your cars and go to the racetracks and stuff.
Yeah.
So you have 755 horsepower. I don't remember what he said he has, but whose car is faster? Your cars?
Yeah. My car is faster. Like, probably about like 150, maybe some horsepower faster. We really haven't. We didn't test it out, but I mean, I know I know what my car done for speed wise, and I know what his car done for speed wise. And I know for a fact, like, what my car was at speed, I still had a lot of room to keep going, and just like it was fun, it was funny. Like, I'm still in fourth gear. Like, yeah, I'm doing blah blah speed. Like, but
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know what I mean. But
Don't do don't do a Kyle Busch and head down 485 in your LFA.
mm, I might have done that a couple times, but no, I mean I save it for the track. But me and Tig, no, Tig Roush Mustang is definitely fast, and he has, like, we have different blowers on it. I have a ESS blower, so I have a centrifugal blower, so mine's not sitting on top of my motor, so my power pops in at about 3,000 RPM, 3,500 RPM, but mine's never stop pulling. Like, his come in at the bottom end, and his bottom end power is the max. Like, mine just keep going, like, to, and also too, I'm on E85, so like it's like it's no.
Ain't no joke. Ain't no joke.
Yeah, yeah. Mine's pretty special. I love my car right now. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Like a lot of people gonna be like, oh, you can't mess with Hellcats. I laugh at Hellcats. They funny. You know what I mean? That's my car. Like,
Now back to the racetrack. We were talking to Josh earlier about being there at Vegas with all the wind, the debris, all that stuff. You know, even in pit stops. Did that affect you at all?
I mean, coming from the truck series, we had a lot of drivers explaining and complaining about like, oh man, it was very slippery out there on pit road. Um, but also too, like, man, we have. I mean, coming from a team, then once you get to Cup Series, everybody's spraying something different down on pit roads. And me personally, I don't think none of it because I think as an athlete, like, hey, keep your feet under you. Like, you know what I mean? But also too, I seen somebody fall that was behind me and all that stuff. Like, it's like, all right, cool. Like, all right, they just fell and slipped. And also too, I know they got their little chemicals what they spray down like the sticky stuff. And I was just like, all right, cool. It's just a little tick in my head, like, all right, cool. Hey, make sure you keep your feet under you. Don't it's not I don't have to run the fastest around the car at this point. Cause like, all right, cool, you run around fast and you slip and fall. Now you still
It-
lost time. But if you stay on your feet, keep your feet under you and all that stuff, like it's I really don't think about that because I'm an athlete. I that's also to how I look at it. But I mean, it's no, it is different. Like after going to Vegas, then going to different pit stops, it's definitely different because I mean, I put chapstick on my lip and the wind was blowing and I felt my lips. I'm just like, man, I have all kind of stuff on my lips now.
Right.
Like
Oh,
so
wow.
it's yeah, it's exactly. So I mean, no, but no, it's definitely a different mindset going there. It's like, all right, cool. Like your run around is definitely gonna be a little bit slower or tick slower because you're just trying to keep your feet on it. You're not slipping, falling. Because once you get too far extended, you can go down.
And it probably ain't anything scarier than falling down when another car's coming by you at 55 mile an hour.
Man, I mean, really, I mean, slipping and falling, it doesn't really matter. Hey, this car is coming around you 55 miles per hour, coming around you. So really, it doesn't matter about slipping and falling because guess what? If the cars come down and you come around the car, you on the right rear, that car could be leaving when you're getting up to go around to the left side. So really, that part, it really don't that's not something you think about because I mean you have that every day, every racetrack, regardless.
Right. Now, we were talking to a former Jackman who you give all the glory to. Now, with them putting more and more road tracks on the course, you know, going from left sides to right sides, back and forth on regular car pavement, have you noticed a difference from between like, you know, a real track like say a Sonoma versus Chicago?
Nah, nah, me personally, I really don't. Nah, I have never probably went to a track and thought about the ground besides only Phoenix and Vegas.
Really? And they just happen to be side by side.
Yeah, because I mean, hey, you in the desert.
Right.
But other than that, it's just like I mean, I played basketball. It's like, all right, cool. You go play basketball outside, then you go play basketball on the court. You don't treat it any different.
Got you.
You
Got
know what
you.
I mean? Like, you just don't. I mean, you really don't. I mean, I don't put that much thought into it because I mean, regardless, my feet gonna be under me. Regardless, I'm gonna run fast. Regardless, like it's. I don't. I mean, yeah, I never put that much thought into it. Yeah. It's just
Now,
like the hose. It's just like the hose. I'm not like every other real changer. I really don't care about where my hose is. I got good feet. So like, all right, as long as you throw the hose out there and leave it where it's at, it's not moving while I'm running. I'm not worried about it. It's gonna be the same run around. It's gonna be everything the same because
yeah.
it's running. You don't have to train me how to run.
Now I think Rob wanted to talk to you about how you're getting into it. Rob, you want to jump in?
Oh, about on the pit stops with um
Well,
oh,
how
I'm
to
sorry. About
his
training as an athlete, a college athlete. How does that, or an athlete in general, how does that relate to a NASCAR pit crew member, and what what training do you, I mean, is the training the same or is it different, or
I mean, to be honest with you, man, it's no, it doesn't correlate at all. Like nothing in what sport you play that trains you to land on your knees.
I can't think of it.
yeah.
Yeah. So as an athlete, it's no, it's not the same. It's really not. It's just only certain points where it's like, all right, cool. He's an athlete, and you can tell at that point. Tracking the car down, relaying to the car, running around the car. But like it's I mean, nothing else like carrier. Nothing else tells you to carry 90 pounds or 100 pounds on your arms and running in front of a car. Like, and setting tire. Like, I don't think anything relates to NASCAR, period, as an athlete. But it's only certain things like the mindset, understand, like, all right, cool. You don't have to teach me how to run fast. You don't have to teach me how to react to things or to get over things, like fail quickly. Um, like the but like the workout that we do at Trackhouse, we mean no, it's pretty intense. Like we do CrossFit. Like it's very intense. Like we have CrossFit, we lifting weights and we moving weights and we learn that we still in inquiring the quick feet, good hip movement, like just like any cornerback in the NFL, you have to have good hips. Because guess what? You had to drop your hip, you gotta do that. So we still correlate all that stuff with like hip movement, lifting weights. Like, yeah, that correlates to it. But when it comes to pit stops, like no, it doesn't, it really don't matter. Cause you have athletes that can be fast with pit stops. Then also too, you got people out there that's doing it fast pit stops too, that's not athletes. Like
Gotcha.
if like or not, I wouldn't say not athletes, but like not college people. Like you got some people that came into NASCAR at 18 years old and they still running fast pit stops, but they wasn't college athletes.
Gotcha. Now with the question I'll ask you, if I'm a little dude at the local short track and I want to do what you do, what's the best plan of action?
Hmm.
If you were to give some insight to a little one out there saying, hey, you know, I want I want to be that guy.
I I don't know. I'm a small guy too, so I don't. That's a kind of hard question too. Like, what do you mean, like small guy? Like you talking about
Well,
height, weight,
no,
muscle? Like
no, just little kids. Little kids
a little
out
kid?
there at
Like
their local track watching the cars go around, and they know they're not going to drive the car, but know what? They can work on those cars. What would you say? What could get them into what you do?
keep learning cars and your network. Uh,
Okay,
I have a double major engineering. I have electromechanical engineering, robotics engineering degree. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know sometimes.
gotcha.
If your networks and your work ethic works together, you can move up. I know somebody in this sport right now that just came from late models and he was a tire guy last year on my car. And then, he got let go and not because of his not because work ethic, because like they just didn't think his knowledge. But then he went to a better car. So it's about
Good things happen to good people.
exactly.
Yep, I
Keep
got you.
working, keep your head down, keep working, keep learning, and keep meeting people, keep networking. Like that would be my saying is like, hey, network, keep meeting people. If your work ethic is going to show to everybody else too. So guess what? That's going to speak to somebody else because all car people in the same network, especially late models. Anything with car stuff, you're still in the same realm of everything because car stuff. Like you have some NASCAR people that go do late model stuff. And guess what? You might be working on his car, and then guess what? He's like, oh man, he's a hard worker and he's willing to learn. And be it's the word of being coachable. But also too, yes, yes, it's hey, work your way up. Cause guess what? You never and treat everybody the same, no matter what. Because guess what? You never know who you're gonna meet or who you're working for. That person might know somebody else that guess what? When you get there, they'll be like, oh yes, I know you because that person told me about you.
That's awesome. That's
Your work,
awesome.
your work ethic and your personality and everything. Just be yourself and just work hard and also too just keep a level mind. Like that's that's literally it, man. Like that's how I feel like because like anybody can be anybody, anybody can do something another person would want to do, no matter what.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
just
It's
great
a lot.
advice
It's a
in
lot.
general.
It's a lot of people that's not supposed to be where they're supposed to be. But guess what? They knew somebody that knew them, and they worked hard at that spot, and they
right,
just keep. Hey, they gonna keep carrying you on the whole time.
right. And I can only imagine what it's like. I think about it every time I watch it on TV and I see guys out there, hustling and bustling and doing it and going. That's it right there. I said, I don't think you could ever get tired of smelling rubber and race fuel.
You can't. You can't. You cannot at all. Like man, it's we back racing, baby. Yes.
Exactly.
It's a different feeling, man. Yes, that oh man, when you get to that track and you get that smell, man. Hey, my girl tell me that every day. She be like, "Oh, you smell like a tire."
Hey, at least
You gotta buy her one of those
Oh,
candles that's race fuel and tire or rubber scented candles. You put them around the house.
Hey, I need one of them then.
They sell them.
Hey, so I can put in my man cave right here, so it can just be a candle, just like, oh, this is my man cave, so the way she'll stay out of it.
There you go. Speaking of your man cave, your buddy Tig has a shoe collection. When we interviewed him, he had a whole box of these shoes and stuff. So I see you have hats all the way around the top of your room. So is your thing collecting hats, or do you have the shoe thing too? Because I like the hats. That's pretty cool.
No, so these are winter hats.
They're all
Nice.
winter hats.
nice.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I have winter hats. I have a high school baseball jersey that I got to myself. This also too is my gaming room. As you can see, my gaming chair.
Yeah.
I have a gaming PC that I stream on with Call of Duty and stuff. I have I have a lot of shoes, but I don't. Nah, I'm not gonna show my. If Tig showed yours, show his. I'm not gonna. Nah, I know Tig's shoe collection. No, Tig's shoe collection is way better than mine. No,
do
no.
you do you know Ray Stevens?
Ray Stevens, yes.
Yeah. So Ray's got a ginormous shoe collection too. So I don't know. I don't know if Ray's is bigger. I think probably bigger than Tig's, but I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think so. Hey, so my mom is a shoe person, and also, so I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep.
So I have a lot of shoes too, because we used to go to the Nike factory, and my mom is a shoe collector. She has over probably 2 or 3 thousand pair of shoes. Like she has her own room or closet of shoes. She has a garage full of shoes. She has that. But Tig is on that level too. So I'm like, nah, no, I spend my money on probably just car parts. Really. I know my my money is worth in my garage. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I really don't spend money on too much anything else. I don't. I'm out of buying shoes. Yeah, nah, I don't. I really don't do anything else besides. I mean, my PC is pretty good. Other than that, nah. But my gaming room, hey, those are winter hats, and that's me. That's everything that I. That's that goes from truck, Xfinity to Cup. So nah.
You got-
That's awesome.
you got-
I'm really glad I asked you about that because I would have never known that without, asking you. That's pretty badass. That's a lot of hats.
Yeah. I mean, some of them like, well, I'll take that back. No, I don't have any duplicates. I think that,
So, but I know you're a busy guy. So one last quick question for you. You used to be a member of Jeremy Clements Racing's pit crew.
come on.
How
Hey,
did how did you get involved with Jeremy and his team?
I actually worked for Jeremy for like 4 years of my years of 6 years. When I got to Chip Ganassi, that was a team they put me on at first, and I meet Junior. I love that team, like because like you have everybody there is like race people, and it's a family oriented team. Like everybody's there is family, and they always work together, and it's like they gonna treat you like family no matter what. I've been to the Christmas party, the Halloween parties. I never met everybody that done something at some point with the team, and I mean, I mean, that's how I got it with it. It was tripping as I met them, and then they keep every time they put me on the team, and I love it every time, and I give my full effort. Like I do it, whatever they need. Like I mean, I would go down there and drive. I mean, if they asked me to drive a car for them, I would do it. If that makes like you know what I mean. But that's how much I love. I mean, no, it's a great team, and like they're a great family also too, man. They're great people. Like they gonna show you love like at the track. If I'm not on that car, guess what? I'm gonna speak to them, and then also too, if they see me, they gonna speak to me. Like it just goes a long way to show you like how much they really care about like the people they work with. And like it's not like they not gonna ever try to get like different people every time. They gonna try to work with the same team no matter what. And every time like we didn't work with them a lot, and unless something else comes up where we don't have enough teams for them. But other than that, like, but then guess what though? Then the next year we be right back, have a full pit crew for them, and then they just be there with bracing arms, like loving us no matter what. And I mean, it goes for me like because I work on my own car. If that like you know what I'm saying, like if I buy parts, like I have a supercharger, I put my supercharger on, working on my garage by myself. That's what they do as a family, as a team. Everybody pretty hands on. And then when they come to the track, guess what? Everybody there then put hands on the car. They done this, done that. And then when you get to the track, they also still sitting there working hard. And then also too have the full energy no matter what. And man, I love the 51. I really do, man.
That's been a common theme. Everybody that we've talked to, all his partners, and people like Tig and other pit crew people that work with him, they all said the same thing, that it's all family oriented. Everybody's a family. That's been the common theme with Jeremy Clements Racing and Jeremy Clements and his team. Everybody's one big family.
And that also too goes to the sponsors too, like because you also meet the sponsors and see the sponsors every race. Like that, I mean to me like it goes back to like how Trackhouse is. Like that's a big thing. Like it's a difference like when you just doing a job and you work with somebody and then like you never meet the owner, you never meet the sponsor, you never like it goes a long way when you meet those people. Like it's not, and then it's not about only just money. Like when you meet them and you know them personally, like you know what I mean. Like that goes a long way to like the pit crew, anyways. Because guess what? I mean, you guys are the money people, really. Like if you think about it, you guys are the money people. But like then you come down and treat us like family. Like that's love. Like and also too, it just motivates you to go out there and do your best job no matter what's going on. Like no matter what. All right, we qualified this. All right, cool. Doesn't matter. Cool. We're gonna go here and we're gonna gain 5 spots. Like it just makes you want to go work harder because you know everybody, and also too is just the respect is there. If that, you know what I mean, like the respect is there all the way through the family, from the driver up past the sponsors, everybody. Like, and we all in, like once you're in sync as a team, man, like that's what makes a better team.
Yeah, it's funny you said that story. I did a interview after Daytona, and Steve Setzer had me cleaning up the floor at the shop. I stopped by one day to congratulate them on their sixth place finish, and he had me carrying tires from one room to the next and sweeping the floor and moving the car over to the. It was family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And watch this, like you never thought anything about it. You just like,
All right.
hey,
Where's
yeah,
the proof?
cool. We here. Hey,
Right.
hey, you did this where? This, there? Cool.
Yeah.
So like, but you never thought nothing of it like, hey man, hell no. Why am I sitting here doing this?
No. I
But it's
I
just like, because it's the same respect. He give you respect and you give him respect. It's the same thing.
Yep, 100%. And that's why we cheer you guys on every single weekend. You know, we know it's a family ordeal.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
So we know you're a busy guy. We've been on for quite a while tonight, talking with both you and Josh. We really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us and talk about your racing background and career and everything, and sharing your words of wisdom about life in general and everything. So, Derek, it's been a pleasure of Dave and mine, and we really appreciate you being on our show tonight. We hope to see you at a track sometime soon. We wish you luck the rest of the season. Maybe get some more wins, add to that hat collection.
Yes,
There you go.
sir.
Yeah. So, all right. And before we go, Justin Sharpie is one of our guys that helps out on occasion with our podcast. So I know he knows you, and I know he's buddies with
Hey,
you
that's
and
my
Tig.
guy.
Yeah. So I know Justin would be mad at me if I didn't give a shout out to him and say that he says hello to you, him and Beth. So I'm passing on a hello to you.
Hey, tell Justin, hey, yes. Hey, I love it. Thank you so much. Hey, you lucky I can't run downstairs right now to give you to show his bottle right now that he gave me. And I have not drunk because I'm just saving it. I love Justin
You got to
so
tell him that you drank it, so he sends you another one. So you have two then.
Hey, I do. Hey, can I give you guys can I give you guys a little
Sure.
spiel real quick? All right, cool. So yes, Justin is the best person ever. So he also too came to Charlotte, right, one time, this past year. And
Yep.
I didn't get to hang out with him because he came in like last minute and I go to bed early type stuff. Like, I'm sorry, I'm an early bird. But so he hit up Tig and they also too came to my house. And Tig knew I have a ring on my door. And he left me a message on my ring, and I still have it on my phone right now to this day.
Justin, I do remember him mentioning that when we interviewed Tig, and he dropped the bottle of off on your porch, I believe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And also too, that's the type of stuff that I was saying. Like when you know, hey, it's a family. It's just not like oh, we just here to work. No, that's a family thing. Cause like, guess man, whoever does that.
Yeah,
Just,
I mean, it's really cool that a lot of times you don't see that.
you don't.
No, and well, in life in general, a lot of you don't see that.
Exactly. And
So
that's what. Hey, I save it on my phone every time, and I show them every time. Like, hey, look, hey, Justin stopped by my house. I don't know about y'all house, but he came to my house. Hey, I feel.
all
That's
right.
cool though, man.
All right, Jarek, I really appreciate again you coming on the show. Good luck the rest of the season, and Dave and I hope to see you sometime at a track real soon.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me here, man. I really enjoyed it, like for real. Like, hey, anytime you guys want me back, hey, I'll come back and get on the show, like for real.
Hey,
We absolutely will take you
I'm
up on
only-
that offer.
I'm only
You're,
5
you're part of the Area
uh,
51 Racing Podcast family now.
Come on. Hey, I like it. Yes.
There you go. All right. Take care.
Hey,
Have a
thank
good
you.
night and good luck. Peace.
Have a good one.
Take
See you.
care. Bye. All right, Dave, how do you think your first episode went?
Man, I think we did a great job. I think Bobby would be proud of us.
I think Bobby would be proud of us too. I know he messaged me, we were going a little long, but we were having a good conversation with both those guys, Josh and Jarek. So in closing, obviously next week Bobby will be back. So our next podcast is next Tuesday, March 12th, at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. I don't believe we know for certain who the guests are going to be at this time, but watch our social medias sites for that information. And then also, listeners, if this is your first time watching and listening to our podcast, please check us out on our YouTube channel, Area 51 Racing Podcast, and also on Podbean, an app you can download on your smartphone, your Apple iPhone, and then you can listen to any of our prior 10 episodes, including tonight's episode, on Podbean, and you can listen to it in your car or wherever you want. A couple other things. Please go check out our t-shirts that are for sale at the stickygears.com website. They're only $15, and a portion of that money goes back towards Jeremy Clements Racing to help keep Jeremy on track. And then also, if you haven't seen on stickygears.com, they put on today that you have an opportunity to have your name on Jeremy Clements' race car on a ride-along program for the Texas Xfinity race when you purchase a copy of NASCAR legend Jeff Bodine's autographed book entitled All of It for $30 plus shipping and handling. Great deal. I ordered the book today myself, actually a t-shirt too. I am looking forward to be able to reading it. We talked to Steve Carnes last week, who put this in motion to allow this to happen. They're right along with the book purchase. So another great opportunity. And then also check out our other merch, our tumblers and garden flags on Anna Moore Designs LLC. Send Anna a message, or you can message Bobby and then order.
She does absolutely awesome work. I got a couple pieces from her, a cup, the flags. I mean, Yep.
This custom cup she made for us, they're awesome.
Right.
So go ahead and do that. And then by making those purchases, a portion of that money helps keep our podcast on the air. And so we appreciate that. So in closing, we'd like to thank our partners who make this podcast possible: Beech Ridge Barbershop, Spartan Waste, Impala Union, Alliance Driveway Solutions, First Pacific Funding, Elite Towing and Recovery, Whitetail Smokeless, Blind Form Concrete Structures, Driftless Glen Distillery, Runner's Roost, Matman Designs, and of course, none of this is possible without Jeremy Clements Racing and Jeremy Clements. So thank you all for tuning in tonight and joining us. Dave, welcome aboard, brother, and to the Area 51 Racing Podcast crew. We're looking forward to doing more with you.
I had an absolute great time. Thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity. It's time of a lifetime.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Take care and have a good night.
All right. God bless.
God bless.